Yo, so check it out, everyone. Here's my subject that I'm going to be painting. It's a cool little temple building or church building, whatever you want to call it, in this mission area. And this is such a cool little place, man, to see on Maui in Hawaii. And it's right near the beach, as you guys saw there, right on the ocean. And they got a big Buddha statue. They have a pagoda building, really cool. And, I went to Maui for the first time back in 2016, and I didn't even know this place existed. And it was literally in the town I stayed at for 2 weeks. And luckily I came back this time and really Googled and checked around, what's in this town to see, what are some cool things. And this was on the list. And it was about a minute drive, 2-minute drive up the road. So I definitely went and checked it out and decided to do a painting here. And I'm definitely going to have to come back and try to do some more painting here before the trip is over, because a lot of potential here. And it's something unique. It's something that is so, to me, it was so unique to Maui and my trip there. And it's not something, I was always on this trip, I was always trying to find stuff to paint that if you just saw the painting, you wouldn't say like, oh, that's in Hawaii, that's on Maui. And this is one of those things. Like I would never look at this painting and go, yeah, that's in Maui. I would think it's in China or Japan or something. And that's really the unique thing about it, and that's why I painted it. And I just thought it was a cool feature. And the light was beautiful. This was early in the morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and it's just beautiful light. I always tried to get out and paint in the morning, when the light was really nice, and also because the UV in Hawaii, when you're more towards the equator, the sun really beats down on you, man. And I end up with my skin complexion, I literally burn in 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes if I don't have any clothes on, if I don't have a shirt on or any kind of sunblock or whatever. I don't really like using sunscreen too much, but, I always had like a shirt on at least, during the, I only wore sunblock, if I was going to the beach and it was between noon and 2 p.m. Otherwise, I just wore a shirt and I was fine. But yeah, that's why I paint in the morning or in the evening, because the sun, the UV is really low then, it's only like 3 or 5. But during the day, during the heat of the day, the UV index, it was like 13. It was like, holy crap, this is crazy. Definitely burn in no time. So it definitely took my time on this painting because, there was a lot of intricacies, a lot of complexities that I had to focus on. And I probably could have been a little bit more loose with this. I think moving forward with my paintings, I definitely want to loosen up and it's something I'm just always battling, loosening up and really trying to capture the essence rather than being so precise with everything, I want to create a piece of art, not a replica of what's there. And, sometimes I do it. It's not like this is a bad painting. I really like this painting, but I just see the potential for loosening up in the future for sure. So I'm really trying to get in these shadow shapes because those are going to move the most drastically as the morning progresses. So I'm trying to capture right away the things that are going to change the most, and that's the shadow, shadow and light shapes. So as long as I can get these shadow shapes in there, then, I know the rest is in light. So sometimes watercolor, I don't typically paint, light to dark the way you should. It all depends on the subject, depends on what's in front of me. If I have to paint something super quickly, I just go straight for the colors. I don't have time for washes or whatever the case may be. There's times when it's more important to just break the rules a little bit, not follow any kind of convention of like, oh, I have to paint this light to dark. That's the way it should be. It's like, nah, sometimes you just got to get in there, get the darks in there, and, do what you got to do. Oh, excuse me. But this painting was a lot of fun, man. This was definitely a lot of fun. And like I said, it's so unique to Hawaii on this trip. I mean, when I went there, there was really, like, no one there. There was people at the beach right outside this place, but like I think one other family came and looked at it while I was there, and they only stayed for like 5 minutes. They just kind of looked around, like, okay, cool, and then that was it. I was the only one that kind of stayed for a while, did some painting, and just kind of hung out, man. It was a really peaceful place, pretty quiet. There were some chickens walking around, as always. That's the weird thing about Maui. They get the wild chickens running around. It's pretty cool. Although I will say they woke me up every morning, that's for sure. And they would just start crowing at weird times. They crow at like 4 in the morning. It's like, dude, the sun's not even up. What are you guys crowing for? But other than that, it was pretty cool. So now I'm using a thin brush here, getting in on some of the wood planking on this building, which really kind of defines the architecture and stuff. So that was pretty cool. I ended up making a mistake on this building. It was kind of a bummer. We'll probably see it here shortly, but I ended up painting something shadow when it should have been light on the building. And I was like, oh man, I can't believe I just did that. Yeah, so I'm starting to paint in some shadows here. Just trying to get a range of values that looks realistic, yeah. Because this is really my focal point, and there's not a whole lot more to this painting other than this building. There's some supporting foliage around on the sides and stuff. I really love the shadows of the palm trees in the foreground. It really kind of brings you across the painting, and it really gives the illusion of plains, the ground plane, and the illusion that there's some palm trees in the distance, in front of us, off of the painting that we can't see. Like, I think it just really helps support the whole environment. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite parts of this painting, surprisingly, is just those shadows on the foreground, on the ground. All right, it's starting to come together now. I can really see this building coming together. Try not to overwork it here. Just paint some simple little fencing and wooden fencing and stuff that was there. And you see, I got so caught up in detail that I forgot. Like, oh, there's a whole tree right next to it I need to actually block in. It's kind of good. It's good and bad at the same time, because I was focused on my focal point, which is good. But I got so caught up in all the little shapes and stuff that I didn't even block in the rest of the painting. I mean, luckily the painting came together. It's not like it wasn't detrimental to the whole painting. But this tree is important, I think, to the whole scene, the whole environment. And I still have some of the background to do there, as I'm doing here, blocking in. There's a island off in the distance back there. And I kind of modified that a little bit, made it a lot smaller. So I'm just blocking in the foliage there. All right, we're going to go back to the building now. Kind of try to bring this to a finish this thing up. Really want to make sure I get a lot of the different planes and things happening on the roof. And like I said at the beginning, all the little intricacies and complexities, the details, whatever you want to call it. I don't really like putting in details. I don't even like saying that I put in details. I like putting in suggestion of details. Because I think especially a lot of beginners, and myself included, it's so easy to get caught up in details, and that's not even what I want to focus on at all. You know, I want to abstract things and make it look like it's realistic. But then when you look at it up close, just a bunch of brush strokes, you know, abstract. But from far away, hey man, it looks pretty realistic. You know, like this tree I'm doing here, it's just a bunch of blobs and little lines and stuff up close. But from far away, you know, from viewing distance, it looks like a tree. That's what I'm always going for. Add some little flowers over there in the bushes. That's kind of cool. So you can see I'm really taking my time with this painting and making sure I'm getting some shapes correct, especially on the top of the building there, because it's kind of like the crown of the building. And I think it was important to just get those little tiny shapes in there. Really brought it together as a whole. It just pushed it to really next, you know, just that next level. And it wasn't like I had to put in details. It was just modifying a few shapes and boom, brought it together. Put in a palm tree back there. I mean, we're right by the beach. We're in Hawaii. There's got to be a palm tree. And that palm tree was definitely there anyway. So anyway, guys, this painting's pretty much reaching the end here. So we're going to get a close-up look at the painting in some good light. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts about this episode and what I can do to improve future episodes. Hope you guys are enjoying the new intros and stuff. It's pretty cool, I think. Gives it a little more context of where I'm at and what's going on. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care of yourself. Peace. Here's a close-up.